Hello and welcome to Think Watercolour. Today's demonstration is this simple sketch of sand dunes at a snow-covered winter beach. It's a simple idea where I've used two complementary colours, basically orange and blue, to make a harmonious composition. This is an ideal little practice sketch as it uses a limited palette and very little detail. So let me show you how I did it. This is a mixture of cerulean blue and a touch of cobalt blue for the sky. Starting at the top with quite a strong mix. I'll just add a little bit more paint shortly, and using a little bit of water just to thin the paint out so that it's lighter at the horizon. Just going to drop in a little bit more of the blue just to strengthen the top of the sky. This is Saunders Waterford 300-gram rough paper, by the way. It's a small sheet, roughly 7.5 inches wide by 5.5 inches high. It's just a quick small sketch just to show what you can do in just 10 minutes messing around with your paints. Where the sand is a little wet at the water's edge, I've added a touch of burnt sienna to grey the paint a little bit and put in that damp area in the edge of the sand. The beach itself is covered in snow, so I just want to keep that white. For the shadow on the dunes, I'm using same colour, which is, as I said earlier, it's a sky colour with a little bit of burnt sienna added just to grey it. Just adding a few little dots of shadow where people may have walked. I'm using an Escoda number 12 brush for this. It's a big brush for the size of the painting, but I always advocate using a much bigger brush than you think you need. These brushes have a really good point to them. Just using a little bit of yellow ochre just for a bit of the sand that's not covered in snow, where the wind may have blown it away on the side of the sand dune. Just to create a bit of shape to the dune. A few more touches of indentations in the snow-covered sand. Just adding a little bit more pigment to that shadow area in the dunes. While it's still wet, you can add some more paint, but if you let it dry too much, you'll end up with runbacks and cauliflowers, but it's still very wet, so it's fine. And for the sea, I've just added a tiny amount of Prussian blue just to add a little bit of greenness to the sea. Not too much, just to vary the tone a little bit. Just adding a little bit more of same colour for the damp sand at the water's edge. For the grasses, which are no longer green because it's winter, I'm using some yellow ochre, and I'll probably use some raw sienna as well, and maybe a touch of Van Dyke brown for the darkest parts, but it's basically complementary colours with blue. So it creates this harmonious feeling in the painting. I'm just using a rigger here for the grasses. Trick here is to just keep it simple. It's a small sketch, so you don't have to have lots of detail. The eye and the imagination of the viewer will do the rest. The great thing about these small practice sketches is you can just have some fun, and that's the whole point of watercolors. If you're not a professional artist and you're doing this as a hobby, just have fun. Never be precious about it. These are very small pieces of paper, and if you mess it up, it's not the end of the world. And as I've said on many occasions, there are no mistakes, just lessons. As long as you learn from errors that you might make, it's fine. Just darkening that area of exposed sand, it dried a little bit light for me, so just giving it more definition. I've just added a little bit of Van Dyke Brown to the mix just to create some of the darker patches and shadows in the dunes, in the grasses on the dunes. And the trick here is not to overdo it. I mean, I'm as guilty as anybody of sometimes going too far with adding detail. Just keep it simple. As long as you've got tonal values correct for the shadows and the lighter areas, then the eye will do the rest. I'm just darkening the shadow area in the dune, in where the snow is, just to give it a little bit more definition. The light is coming from the right, so just darkening the shadow on the right hand side of the dune area, just to create that feeling of 3 dimensions. Again, darkening a few of the indentations in the snow-covered sand. And for the sea, I'm just darkening a few areas to break up the flatness of the look of the sea. I'm just going to get some water and soften the edge towards the horizon a little bit. It's just a little bit too sharp, that edge, and I really don't want sharp edges in the sea. Just softening that, and I'm going to just lift it out with a damp brush, just to create that feeling of depth where it gets lighter towards the horizon. Just adding a few final touches here and there, darkening a few of the shadowy areas in the grasses and in the actual dune itself. Just a few finishing touches, and I think I'm pretty much done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this quick demonstration sketch useful. If you did, do give it a like, it always helps with YouTube. I just wanted to get something out so that I can give people something to use as a practice sketch. If you're not a subscriber, do subscribe and hit the notification bell for future videos. And once again, thanks for watching.